All right, so what do I have to do first to find the equation of this line? Which is finding what? The slope, yeah. So I got to use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? That's our formula to find the slope between 2 points, okay? So y2 negative 4 minus y1 6 over x2 negative 3 minus x1 negative 5. So minus the negative, I have to do addition, right? So what is that? Negative 10 over 2. So my slope's negative 5, right? Everyone okay with that? And that's not working over there. Any questions so far? That's the first part. All right, now, there's two ways you could do this. I don't know if I showed you the second way yesterday. Maybe not to you guys, another class I did, but what I gave you this point slope form, right? Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Okay? That's called point slope form of a line. Or you could put it in y equals mx plus b form if you want. So I'll show you both ways, and you guys can pick whichever way you want to do these. Okay? If I do the point slope form, I pick one of the 2 points, doesn't matter, and then your slope is negative 5. We just figured that out. So I'll just use the first point. So my y value, or my y1 value is 6. Slope we figured out to be negative 5. And then x minus the x value. So again, I got minus a negative there, so I'm going to make it plus. Okay, and then your book asks you to put it in slope-intercept form, right? You got to get y by itself. So the first thing I would do to get y by itself is distribute the negative 5. And then add the 6. And then we'll have it in slope-intercept form. We get y equals negative 5x minus 19. Okay? So that's using point slope form. Again, you pick one of the 2 points they give you. That's your choice. If you pick the other point, you'll still get negative 5x minus 19. It won't change the answer. If you want, since you know you have to put it in slope-intercept form, if you want to plug it into that right away, you can. So I'll use the other point this time. So I'll use a negative 3, negative 4 for this one. All right? So y was negative 4, m was negative 5, and x was negative 3. So again, I just use this point. So I put negative 4 in for the y, negative 3 in for the x, and the negative 5 in for the m. And then I solve for b. Okay? So I get negative 4 equals positive 15, because the negative 5 times negative 3 would be positive. And then subtract the 15 to get b by itself. So get negative 19 equals b. Then you just substitute, negative 5 in for m, because that's what we figured out m was. And then you substitute negative 19 in for b. And that's the same answer, isn't it? Okay? So you could do either way you want. That's up to you. They're both the correct way. You'll get the same answer. Okay? So you got to find the slope first, so if they give you 2 points. Okay? So answers to our homework questions. Number 3, we just had to find the slope. That's negative 1/2. Number 6, we found the slope. That was 0. Remember, when the slope is 0, what kind of line is it? Horizontal, yeah. Okay. Number 9 is 9/19. They gave you some fractions, but you could still do that. Any questions on 3, 6, or 9? Now number 12, they gave you this weird looking point. All right, but it's really not as bad. And again, I won't give you something like this on a quiz, but just to show you guys you can handle this, I just want to write it down here. So there's one point. You gotta know what F is. And then negative 2 plus H. And then it's F of negative 2 plus H. Well, look at this. Look at this. What are those representing? I mean, this is the what? The X. This is the Y. This is the X. This is the Y. What do you notice about the two Y's? They're the same. So if I subtract them, if they're the same, what's it going to be? Going to cancel or 0, right? That's 0 in the top. So what's the slope of that line? 0. Right? Doesn't matter what the X is, what you get, because it's going to be 0 divided by something, which is 0. Okay? So they made it look kind of weird, but it doesn't matter what F of negative, we don't even know what F is to figure it out, but they're the same thing. So when we subtract them, we're going to get 0. 15, 18, 21, and 24 was just equations, just graphing lines. Okay? All you got to do is get Y by itself and then graph them. If you want to use your calculator, I have no problem with that. If you have to graph on, I don't even know if I make you guys graph on the quiz anyway. 27, you had to write the equation. 27 to 36, you had to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So 27 was y equals x plus 3. They gave you the slope and the y-intercept, right? They gave you 0, 3, which means b is 3. They gave you the slope as 1, so it's just y equals 1x plus 3. There was really no work, but just plug it in for m and b for that one, okay? For 30, you had to find, they gave you the y-intercept for that as well and the slope. So again, you just put negative 2/3 in for m and 3/4 in for b. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3/4. 33, they gave you a point and a slope, and you could do it either way. Again, using point slope form or slope intercept form. Plug in the point for x and y. Plug in the slope. Plug in negative 4 for m. So you get y equals negative 4x minus 10 for 33. And then for the last one, 36 was like our warm-up. Gave you 2 points. When you find the slope, it's 2/3. And then plug one of them in to either of the formulas. Your answer is y equals 2/3 x minus 28/3, which would be what? 9 1/3. If you did 9.3 and 0.6 if you use decimals. Any of those you'd like to go over? So you should be able to graph any linear equation if you have to. You should be able to tell me the slope between any 2 points I give you. You should be able to write an equation of a line if I give you 2 points or a point and a slope. 1 point and a slope, okay? That's what you should be able to do. We're all good on that? Okay. Adding on to that stuff today, another form of a line, that's called the general form of a line, is ax plus by equals c. So again, I'm not going to ask you to put it in that form. You might be asked to do that on homework. That's just getting x and y on the left and the constant on the other side. But if you just get y by itself, then that's fine for me. All right, so what do you think you have to do for this example here? Find the value of x in the domain of f of x equals 3x minus 4, for which f of x equals 5. So Hunter says plug what in?
Plug 5
For
f of x.
F of x. Yes. So where does that go? Where f of x is. Good. That is correct. What kids will do, whoa. So pay close attention here. Right? You're putting 5 in place of the f of x. All right? When you guys get in a hurry, you'll put it in there. Tell me the answer is 11. The answer is not 11. Okay? You're not putting the 5 in for the x. If I asked you this, then you put the 5 in place of the x. See the difference? But it's saying f of x is 5. So you're putting the 5 on this side and just solving for x. Okay? So it's really not that hard of a problem, but we're used to doing this. All right? It's a little different. Michael?
If you were to only ask to plug the 5 in for x, would you plug it in for 3x?
Yeah, if I asked you this one over here,
Yeah.
I would just put the 5, ask you to put the 5 there. And what is that? 15 minus 4 would be 11. Okay? But it's asking us to find what x is so that f of x is 5. So you're just putting 5 over on the other side of the equation. So what x value works? 3. Okay? So it's just a little bit different than what you're used to. Okay? So you're just substituting the 5 in for the f of x. So you have a couple problems like that for homework. Okay? And we'll have 1 or 2 on the quiz. So what do I do here? Put in 0 where? On the f of x side, right? Over here. Okay? And then just solve it. So it's a really easy problem if you put it in the right spot. Okay? So just make sure we put it in the right spot. So we get -2 is our answer to make f of x equals 0. So f of -2 would be 0. Right, Naomi? Okay? So that's one type of problem. Okay? What do you guys think you have to do for this one? Yeah, just set them equal to each other. Okay? Don't overthink it. Just set 4x plus 5 equal to x plus 6. They're just saying the first function equals the second one. So that's what we're going to write. 4x plus 5 equals x plus 6. So just do our normal solving equation stuff then. I want to get the x's together. So I'm going to take the x on the right over to the 4x on the left, I'm also gonna take the 5 on the left over to the 6 on the right. So I'm doing 2 steps at once here. So the 5's on the left cancel, the x's on the right cancel. So I get 3x on the left and 1 on the right. So x is what? 1/3. It's okay to get a fraction or a decimal. We're not always going to get whole number answers. Okay? So you have a couple of those, or maybe just one of those for homework. But there'll be one like that on the quiz too. Okay? All right. The other thing is you're going to write equations of lines also tonight, like we did last night. But we're going to talk about parallel lines and perpendicular. What do we know about the slopes of parallel lines? They're the same. So when it's parallel, slopes are the same. What do we know about the slopes of perpendicular lines? Yeah, they're different. How are they different? One's negative, one's positive. What else? They're opposite. They're opposite reciprocals. Okay? What's the symbol for parallel?
Two dashes.
Two lines, right? Like two L's beside each other. What's the symbol for perpendicular? Upside down T. Okay? So if I said the slope of a line is -5, let's say. Okay? What's the slope of the line parallel to that one? Parallel, I said. If the slope of a line is -5, what's the slope of the line parallel to it? -5. What's the slope of the line perpendicular? So parallel would be -5. Perpendicular would be +1/5. Yes. Right? If it's a whole number like this and you're having trouble with the reciprocal, just put it over 1. And then when you flip it, you know it's 1/5. But since it was -5, the opposite reciprocal will be +1/5. Okay? We understand that? Coming back to us? Okay. So here's the type of problem with these you'll have. Find the equation of the line that passes through 1, 3 and parallel to this line. Okay? So the point I'm going through is 1, 3. The slope is what of the line I'm looking for? -2/3, yeah. If I said perpendicular, you'd use what for slope? +3/2, okay? So it's just like last night. So the equation of the line I'm looking for has this slope, because it said parallel, and then it's going through this point. That's what it's saying. So it's the same type of problem from here as we did last night. Okay? So I can do both ways. If we do point slope, it's y minus the y equals m times the quantity x minus the x value. If I do it in slope-intercept form, it's y3 equals m times x plus b, and solve for b. Again, you could do either method. I don't care. All right, whichever you prefer, whichever makes more sense to you. So using point slope, distribute the negative 2/3. And then add 3. What's 2/3 plus 3? 3 and 2/3. You can write it like that. That's fine. The book would probably write it as an improper fraction. Which is 11/3. All right, 3 is 9/3, so 2/3 plus 9/3 is 11/3. Okay, but 3 and 2/3 is fine. Okay, if we do it the other way, we'll get the same answer. Negative 2/3 times 1 is negative 2/3. And then to get b alone, we're going to add the 2/3. And 3 plus 2/3 we just did. It's 3 and 2/3. So we're going to get the same answer. All right, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3 and 2/3. Okay? So you do it the black way or the green way? Gavin, why are you up out of your chair? All right. Question. Is that difficult? Pretty easy stuff, right? Okay. That's it for today. There's your assignment. The picture I do have on Canvas.
Oh my God.
Not much.
Not much.
Count it out.
That's a lot of problems. If every 3 go under,
Don't matter.